Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for joining our show tonight. We've got a really good show planned. We're going to be unboxing and discussing Elvis Presley. We've got Dan McNew. Dan has personally met Elvis and has a video to show, a bunch of pictures to show, and a lot to say about Elvis. We have another person coming on. Surprised he's not here yet because he did notify me that he got the link to come on. There's a couple more people coming on, but we'll go ahead and do a little intro and then we'll get going. All right, so Royce in the house, vinyl album unboxing. And let's see, Psycho Platters is in the stream. The chat, Caitlin's in the chat. Hi, you guys. It's going to be a fun show tonight. We're still waiting for a couple of people to join us that were sent links. So here we are, and tonight's show is going to be Elvis Presley. We're going to talk about the King, such an icon. He just was one of the most pivotal, amazing, iconic performers of the 20th century. And I thought what was kind of funny, I grew up in Las Vegas, and Elvis was always a part of our lives living in Vegas, And I can remember, him performing, having a residency out there and performing continuously in Vegas for years. And then he kind of quit making new albums for a little while and started making movies. And there's not a movie we didn't go see. Me and my younger brother Richie, who's also going to join us sooner or later, and my father. My father would take us to the drive-in, and we sit and watch all the Elvis movies. And we really loved Elvis. I mean, he was the king, and he was really special to all of us back there. And there was one particular album that one of the first albums my parents bought when they bought their record player. They brought this album home. For the longest time, I had it in a stack of old albums, some of which I still have. But for some reason, this one disappeared. So I'm going to go ahead and, Greg Kotkoff. Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy? Greg's a friend of mine that just moved out of the area altogether. Yeah, good to see you're here, Greg. Thank you. We'll be talking more in a bit. So I just want to show the one album that I grew up with, that I listened to daily, for years. And that was Elvis's golden record here. Yeah, this I grew up with this, and I wound up having my parents' copy of this, and it wound up I don't know where it wound up. Maybe it was so damaged after all that time and all those moves of being put in piles and stacks that maybe it just got thrown away. I just don't even remember what happened to it. But I was really sorry I couldn't find it, because some of that stuff that's old like that, you get it when you're 9, 10, 11 years old, and you listen to it growing up, and then it bothers you when it's missing. But I'm going to take this out, and this has got some great songs on it. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. It's got "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, Loving You, I'm All Shook Up," "Heartbreak Hotel," "Since My Baby Left Me," "Jailhouse Rock." I mean, I can almost sing all these songs terribly, of course, but "Warden to a Party in the County Jail, Prison Band was there and they began to wail. Love me too much, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. That's when your heartache begin. Let me be your teddy bear." I used to work for a contractor years ago that played in bands part-time, and that was his big hit. When it was his turn to sing, was "Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear."
Teddy Bear was, Teddy Bear was #1 on the charts the day I was born.
Was it really? Yeah. How funny is that, man? Love me tender. Okay. Treat me nice. Any way you want me. I want you. I need you. I guess that's all one song. I want you. I need you. I love you. But this is a great album. I grew up listening to this. I mean, it just played all the damn time. We Are Vinyl. I'll have to look at this later. Maybe this is some live streaming thing where I can listen online. Anyway, I want to pull this out because, of course, it's colored vinyl. A little bit different than the one I grew up with. And
of course, it's gold.
Package. Pardon me?
Of course, it's gold.
Yeah, gold. Yeah, gold, kind of a marbleized. It's really pretty. I hope it's. Yeah, I guess you can see that pretty good. Isn't that wild? But man, I mean, I love every song on this. These songs are great. And so I think I'll go ahead and just go through a few albums here that I have while we're waiting for the guys to show up, and we'll get going. But I think before I go any further, I think I need to do a little shout out to the chat. The chat is just our friends that show up here. Let's see, what is Psycho Platters? Yeah, we met him through Rachel. 50s
Oh yeah.
Elvis period was the best. Yeah, it was. It was great. I'm just going to give a little shout out here to a couple of people. Dan, have you got something you want to show for a couple of minutes? While I just call a couple of people out here.
Well, you want me to show some of those pictures I took? Or
yeah, no, that'd be
no.
cool.
Well, as far as albums, my albums are kind of in a. I can't get to them right now.
Oh, no, that's okay. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, because I really the only Elvis, because I never really was a big Elvis fan, not until I met him. That's when I realized, this guy's pretty interesting. And actually, meeting Elvis Presley actually kind of changed my life in a way. That particular day in January of '73, I thought what I see in there was so cool. I said, man, I got to be a rock star. That's got to be the cool life.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
I was 15 years old, and so I went out and bought a guitar, tried to teach myself how to play the guitar. But then a couple of years went by, and I ended up joining the military. So that was kind of into that for a while, at least. And then when I got out of the military, I started back up again, wanted to be a rock star again. And I realized, you know what? I'm not cut out for that, but I want to be part of the industry somehow, So that's what
right.
So I started becoming a roadie for different bands, and kind of learning the production part of it.
Right.
And that just kept growing throughout my life, basically as a hobby. I never made much money at all at it.
Yeah.
Rare did I make money.
But, when the British invasion hit back there for us, I was in 6th grade, the Beatles and the Stones and everybody came. And everybody wanted to be a musician then. We're all trying to play instruments, and we had fun. And I struggled with it. My dad could play pretty good guitar. My younger brother got really, really good. In fact, we were talking yesterday, and he said he had a good band going for a while. And at the same time, they were doing a couple of shows a week for this Elvis impersonator where they made all the music for him. I thought that was funny. He's probably got some pretty funny stories because he played out there his whole life, He even got offered a job by Wayne Newton at one point, but because him and his wife had such a great duo going, they didn't want to break it up because he didn't need both of them at the time, at least. So anyway, Angelo, Mr. Royce, good evening. Hi, Angelo. Hi, Psycho's Platters. Bob, how you doing, Bob, buddy? Caitlin. Anyway, yeah, Caitlin, thank you. That was a pretty album, wasn't it? That gold kind of marbleized album. That was cool looking. So anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and just continue with some of the unboxing. I don't have a lot of Elvis. I love Elvis, but I really like. I've got some really good stuff here. Okay, so we're going to put this Elvis Golden over here. I believe this is the first album ever made. First album Elvis ever made. Let me put it that way. And when I look it up, and from the things that I remember, that this was #1. Now I could be wrong. There could be other things that came out first, but I believe it's the first one. It's got blue suede shoes. I'm counting on you. Got a woman. One-sided love affair. I love you just because. Tutti Frutti. Oh, Rudy. Trying to get to you. I'm going to sit right down and cry. I'll never let you go, little darling. Blue Moon and Money Honey. And I better take a look at this. I think this is a little more road worn than so much of the other stuff I have here. But you know what? I have played it. I played it a couple of months ago, and it's actually pretty damn clean. This vinyl is pretty clean. I saw one little scuff on the other side, and that may even wipe off. Let me see. Where was that?
That looks like an old label there. What year was this?
RCA Victor, yeah. Okay, let me see if I can find that information real quick, Dan. Sometimes we got to pull the glasses out. Made in the USA. Okay, maybe it's on the cover. Yeah, there's not any kind of a date on the actual album. There's usually something on the cover. Okay. From the originators of electronically reprocessed stereo. That sounds really old. Mississippi. um, he started by strumming on a broomstick and soon graduated to a $2.98 instrument and began picking out tunes and singing on street corners. How wild is that? After earning some money by working at part-time jobs, Elvis walked into a small recording company studio and asked to make a record at his own expense. In a few months, his first record was released and became an overnight sensation. Following his graduation from high school, Elvis began an extended round of personal appearances and then signed his contract with RCA Victor. The rest is history. Okay, let's see. We're still looking for a date. You know, I'm just not seeing a date here anywhere, other than the ones that we talked about.
It definitely looks old.
Yeah. I think I've Googled it before, and I'm pretty sure this comes up as Elvis's first ever album.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's 1956, I believe.
Bob is asking, how do you feel about all the merchandise selling going on from people claiming to love Elvis, including family members?
Well, you know what? That's a tough one, because the same thing's going on in the Jimi Hendrix family. At first, there was a whole bunch of stuff being released after his death. And they were claiming that it was authorized by the Hendrix family. Well, now there's kind of a rift, and there's someone else in the Hendrix family that's also releasing stuff. There must have been some kind of a court battle. So now there's two different people releasing Hendrix stuff. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, it's probably always gone on. I mean, there's so much money to be made, especially someone this popular. I mean, Elvis, Michael Jackson, and some of these stars. There's Prince. I just bought a Prince album with kind of a holographic cover that changes when you move it. Just about a week ago I bought that. Maybe I'll grab it and pull it out later. But I think real quick, I'm going to go ahead and resend that invite to a couple of people because I don't know what happened here. And let's see, copy to clipboard, messenger.
As far as making money off after the musician is gone, I mean, I've experienced that firsthand with Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. And, and it really got, once Vinny passed away, just a couple of people really control all that stuff now. And, that's their right. I guess that's their right. If they have the legal right to do it, I don't see any problem with it. One of the things I actually heard Dimebag say with his own lips one night, people were talking about, people were name dropping him to get discounts on things, or guitars and things. And he said, hey, he goes, if you ever get a chance to cash in that Dimebag credit card, you should do it. So he had no problem with people cashing in with his name. In fact, he encouraged it. And, I know several of the people that were in the Pantera camp, they're doing that now. In fact, I saw one of their music cases that Pantera used on tour going for $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And it's just a beat up old case.
Yeah, a beat up old case. I've got one that Stefan left behind when he moved. He didn't have room for even another book in those trailers and containers. And he said, take this. And it was Gilby Clarke, who played guitar with Guns N' Roses. And Stefan had gone on tour with him. I think they went to Argentina, some South American countries. And he wound up having that big orange case, for equipment. And it's sitting down in my storage room, taking up space.
Well, what it was, one of the Pantera guys ended up going to prison. And I'm not going to name who it was, but one of these guys went to prison. and all of his belongings. He was in charge of a lot of the road crew stuff, and I guess the people that ended up with it, I guess the landlords, because the guy was evicted and left his stuff behind.
Right.
They put it up on eBay to sell, and Video Bob bought it all. So it's kind of
really?
So it's kind of kept back in the family again, you know. And Video Bob doesn't have any room for it either. He doesn't have any need for it. So he's selling it. So it's not like he's really cashing in on it. It's just something he doesn't need, but he wants to make sure that the people that do get it are true fans.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But he did pay for it from that auction.
Okay, it's showing me backstage. Don't know. Okay, Robert said he's being shown as being backstage, but he's not. He's not really. Let's see. Okay. Hey,
there he is.
Here he is. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Robbie Detroit.
Standing on his head.
There we go. My lighting's not.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Doing really good. My lighting. No.
Yeah. Hey, Robbie. So I think everybody here knows Dan. Dan has his own show, and I'm sure you know that too, Robbie. Just the facts.
Oh yeah, and
Dan was just at a Rolling Stones concert in Texas, and he's been playing he videoed all kinds of songs being done, and I've been listening to them all and watching them, and it was just fantastic, you know. And Dan, you were saying something earlier. You've got some of your videos have over 1 million views on them. Some of these, my
space shuttle video got hit pretty close to 2 million now between the two.
That's astronomical.
I know it's hard to even fathom.
I'm lucky to get 1,000 views on mine.
You know, and I got
Robbie,
a bunch of time.
I wanted to ask you, Robbie. Want to tell us a little bit about what you're planning? Just so everybody knows what you've got coming up, and because everybody needs to subscribe to Robbie Detroit. He's going to have a great show.
Well, yeah, I got over 200 albums of Elvis's, 8-track tapes, CDs, everything.
Wow.
And I was trying to get 100 subscribers before I even started to open up a channel, and I'm at 92 right now.
Oh, yeah, I've been following you. It's built really quickly. I mean, yeah, it's built really quickly. It's been showing just these short little videos too.
Yeah, just playing the shorts is giving little teasers and that. But probably here in the next week I'll start up. I get nervous when I get on the screen. So
same with me.
Yeah, well, we all kind of have that. You know, it's never easy. I mean, I go through different things leading up to the time of coming on. You know, from getting my wife in here to type something for me because I'm making too many mistakes. You name it. You know, it's not easy. It really isn't easy. And you may not understand. Most people probably don't realize this now, but I was actually a very shy kid and a shy person growing up. Now, that's not to say I was shy around my particular group of friends. You know, I was as loud and obnoxious as any of them. But as far as like the general public concerned, I was always really shy, and I wound up being a planning commissioner in the city of Atascadero, and I was the chairman of the planning commission when we were rezoning the whole city for more growth, and the only people that show up to the meeting were the no growthers, And so I learned to sit up there in front of them and take all the abuse and vote the way I was always gonna vote anyway, because it was the right thing to do, And now you've got the Democratic governor forcing people to make room for more housing, even suggesting that lots like mine, you could put 4 houses on them. We need more housing, So anyway, enough of all that crap. It doesn't matter. So Robbie, you've got a show that you're getting ready to launch in a bigger way. Now, if people want to look for you, will they look for Robbie Detroit to find your show?
Yeah, it's Robbie Detroit's Tiger Man Vinyl.
Tiger Man Vinyl. Robbie Detroit's Tiger Man Vinyl.
Yeah, that's one of the nicknames that they gave Elvis.
Okay. Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah,
he was before.
Conree, the guy that taught him karate, in karate they give him animal names, and Conree is the one that gave him the title of Tiger Man.
Okay. Well, I understand that he was a 6 degree black belt. I was at a, well, I watch it on videos and stuff, but I saw one of his gis and, you know, some awards and stuff at Hard Rock up in Lake Tahoe last time my wife and I went up there. I actually made a video of it that's on my show, you know, one of my tours of famous places or why we love the Central Coast or something, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, so I understand he's a 6 degree black belt. That's pretty impressive, you know.
Yeah, he started in the Army. He started karate in the Army.
Okay. Hi, Richie. How you doing?
Not too shabby.
Okay. Well, you know Dan McNew, the show Just the Facts.
Hey, Reggie.
Yeah.
You know, Dan's pushing a couple of million views on some of his shows.
I'll be darned. That's great, man.
Yeah. And this is Robbie Detroit.
Hey, Robbie.
Tiger Man Vinyl. He's getting his show ready to get up and start pushing it really hard. And Robbie, now your father worked his whole life for Elvis, I think.
Yes, that would be Charlie Hodge, the little guy on stage that gave Elvis the Scars and Water.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I think I saw him I was watching Elvis yesterday on YouTube, and I think I saw him. He introduced the whole band, and he introduced the guy that gave him the scarves.
Yeah, he'd say, my friend Charlie Hodge, the guy that gives me my scarves and water. That's how he entered on stage. He was much more than that, but everybody knows him by the
right.
Water.
Well, what I'm going to do is I got a couple more albums I want to show, and I think you guys are going to really be kind of running the show when I'm done. You know, Richie and I, it's my younger brother. We grew up in Vegas, and we have Vegas stories. And I showed everybody moments ago, not the original that mom and dad always had in their house that we listened to like constantly, but this was a new one.
I remember that album. Yeah, it got all tore up.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Well, just quickly, since you weren't here, the crazy thing about this one is gold marbled vinyl.
I heard you guys talking, but I didn't actually see the album. So
yeah,
I was having trouble with my eye makeup, and then I couldn't get my hair right, and you know all that stuff. So
that's always a challenge. You know, that's why I don't have my hat on anymore.
I couldn't find my hat.
Huh?
I got a hat hanging on the wall. I should put it on, but I'm gonna look like an old plantation worker. Plantation.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna fight this thing for an hour. I'm just gonna set it down. And then I showed what I believe. Now, Robbie, maybe you know, isn't this the first album of Elvis's ever?
Yes, that's the first album, come out in 1956.
56. That's what I said earlier. Okay, thank you. Okay,
so
what I want to show now.
The Golden Records came out in 58.
Okay. What I want to show now is something that I picked up, and it's Elvis's Blue Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
And what's cool about this one, other than I mean, I like all his songs. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard an Elvis song that I didn't like. You know, I mean, there was an ebb and flow to his career, like there was with a lot of people. You know, when the Beatles came out, they took the country by storm, and before you knew it, all of these other bands, you know, like Creedence Clearwater and, you know, Disraeli Years, The Cream, and all these bands came out, and then Woodstock hit. And the Beatles, you know, they you know, there was like a little bit of a roller coaster ride for them. Usually popular, kind of becoming a little less popular, back up a little, back down a little. They came out with Sgt. Pepper's and Magical Mystery Tour, back up a little bit, and then other harder acts just kept flooding in the door, you know. But it was the same thing with Elvis, you know. He was the king of rock and roll. We all loved his music. You know, for the early part of his career, they wouldn't even film him from like the chest down because of all those hip gyrations and stuff. It was almost like X-rated, having him shake his hips and stuff. You know,
they asked him about that. They asked him about that, and they asked him, "Do you do that on purpose?" You know, the news people says, "No, wait a minute, no, that's the way I feel the music. That's the way I feel the music." Seriously.
So I was going to pull this out because there's some great stuff on here, and it reminds me of some of the movies he made, because our father, Rich and I's father, took us to every one of Elvis's movies at the drive-in theater. And one thing about my dad is many of our friends as he could fit in the station wagon, he stuffed them in there and paid for everybody's way. But this blue Hawaii is in blue translucent vinyl. Not real translucent. It's somewhat opaque, but anyway. So yeah, I don't want to dwell on opening stuff. You know, a lot of the shows will ask who got something new this week, and everybody will open up one or two things that they got new, if anything. But I didn't want to do that tonight because we've got some people here that really know a lot about Elvis, and I really want to hear more of that than who bought what album, you know, last week at Walmart, you know. And
Well,
so we'll get that, I'm just going to show. I'm just going to show one last. You weren't here when I was doing my Elvis impersonations earlier. I was going to show one
we
last.
probably have 4 or 5 people trying to do it tonight. You know.
That's right. Well, I really like this one. When I found this, the Essential Elvis Presley, I had to buy it because it's a 2-album set, and it's just got so much good music on it. You know, that covers the spectrum of his career. I mean, That's All Right, Baby Let's Play House, Mystery Train, Heartbreak Hotel, Since My Baby Left Me, I Was the One, Blue Suede Shoes, You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, Love Me Tender, All Shook Up, Jailhouse Rock. Remember listening to Jailhouse Rock? Warden to a party in the county jail.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, play us a couple of notes if you know them.
I don't know that one. Let me see. I can't sing it that high.
Okay.
One through a party in the county jail. That's all I know of that one. But that's
Right on.
But I might get one in a little bit. I know a lot of Elvis, but I worked with 3 Elvis impersonators, not with him actually, but 3 impersonators.
Impersonators. I remember you telling me that a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And we got.
Anyway, go ahead.
Are you lonesome?
Oh yeah.
Tonight. Let's hear Follow That Dream. Can't help in love with you. Huh?
Roy, on that Jailhouse Rock movie, if you
go ahead, I'm not really
go,
singing.
can you hear? If you go to the scene in the Jailhouse Rock video movie, when he's sliding down the pole, when he slides to the end of it, he breaks the cap off his teeth. And if you notice in the movie, they don't cut it out. They don't edit it out. He's looking down at his hand to see where his tooth went. You can catch it in the movie.
That's terrible.
And he swallowed it and went into his lung, and they took him to the hospital, and they did surgery without clearing it through Colonel Parker.
Really?
And they had with vocal cords to get it out, and Colonel was pretty upset about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
A voice like that. Wow,
You know
that's crazy.
You know what that reminds me of? I gotta put this in here. Do you know what that reminds me of? The video that was done with Eminem, the rapper, and he was playing Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson's nose fell off on the dance floor. And he was down on the ground, and people were dancing. He's trying to get his nose, and people are kicking it out of the way and stuff. Yelling.
Oh my God. But I mean, the hits keep going on this one. Viva Las Vegas. A little less conversation, a little more action. If I Can Dream, In the Ghetto. See, I remember when In the Ghetto came out, you know, Elvis was like, it seemed like his popularity was waning at the time, you know, with all the heavy rock bands coming out and stuff like that. And when he did In the Ghetto, I loved that song, you know. I mean, that was a big song for him at the time. Suspicious Minds. We can't go on forever. Don't Cry Daddy. That was a great song. Kentucky Rain, Burning Love. They're all great songs. You know what? I don't think there's any reason to pull the vinyl out. It looks like there may be some sort of a poster in here or something. Look at that.
Kentucky Rain was Eddie Rabbit song. Eddie Rabbit wrote.
Eddie Rabbit loved the nights. Was that okay? Did Rabbit write that song? Yeah,
he wrote that song.
Okay.
Mac wrote Suspicious Minds and Memories.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is all the Elvis vinyl I have. At least it covers. I mean, it really does a good. It's really this last one, the 2-album set, is really a good compilation. And when I saw it, I just had to grab it because I didn't have enough Elvis. And he was a big part of our lives growing up. You know, my dad was a big country fan, but he loved Elvis too. That's why we had this stuff in the house. So let's see. Let's move on here. My brother has a show. It's the Jesus Movement with Richie Eddings, and he's starting to build some steam. And what's funny is, you know, he played guitar his whole life, and he always does what, at least 2 songs, and usually stuff you wrote. And
Yeah, I did. I've been doing all Christian stuff for about almost 5 years now. So, and lately I've been doing mostly originals on the program. So, just trying to get used to them, and we're recording them right now too. I just finished a couple of them on this bigger recorders, and they're coming out pretty nice. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you first left Nevada, you wound up in Stevenson, Washington, where your ex-wife used to live,
Yep.
and where your son's mother, and you guys all had a great big band that they were playing on
Yep.
some special stations all the time. What was it, Reverb Nation or something like that?
Yeah,
I mean,
and we were on well, some of our songs were on satellite radio, but we were also doing a lot of big things around, you know, like 4th of July and the Blues and Brews festivals and
oh yeah,
stuff. Yeah, we were doing a lot of that stuff, you know, every year. And then we played
Okay.
all the places around town too, you know, in the area, in the
right.
what do they call that? Where the Columbia River goes through Stevenson there.
Columbia Gorge or something like
Yeah,
that, or
gorge,
I don't
like,
know.
in the gorge, through the gorge area and stuff. It was
Yeah.
fun. A lot of Portland stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But Portland
Well,
was
that's
like
cool.
an hour drive. Yeah, Portland, you can't even get there now. Too many riots and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Rich was
Yeah.
just
So,
living down the street from where there was a bunch of riots in an apartment in Portland. He had to move. They
oh,
moved to Camas, Washington, which is not that far away, but there's nothing like that going on there. So
gotcha.
you could hear like
Okay.
this bombs going off at night and stuff. You know.
Oh God. Yeah. Things got real weird in the Pacific Northwest for a while.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did.
Okay,
And
so
we're
let's
only up
okay, so let's go ahead, Dan. We'll go just across the top, Dan. We'll have you go next, and you've got some videos and some pictures and things like that. Is there anything you want to talk about first when it comes to Elvis, or anything else?
I'd like to mention something about the Rolling Stones, though.
Oh, good. Go for it.
You know, Tuesday night was the 3rd time I've seen the Rolling Stones in the Cotton Bowl, and I would say it was probably the 2nd best concert I've seen there. The 1st best concert was in 1989, where I had 6 front row center. I mean, right there, nobody in front of us except for security, which is one of the best
Right.
concerts ever. This time we were lower level, kind of back a ways, and it was cold and drizzly. The weather wasn't all that great, but the worst part of it was, I mean, the Stones were great. I mean, no doubt about it. They were, you know, on top of their game for, you know, only 3 of them left. But since all this uproar in the country here lately about police departments and all this,
Yeah.
well, evidently police departments don't work concert traffic anymore. So they've got people that are unskilled on trying to direct traffic. We were in traffic for like 5 hours that night.
Oh no.
You know, for an hour and a half show, you know, and it was just a mess. And
Wow.
so,
Wow.
you know, you never realize how important police are, even when it comes to little things like, you know, controlling the traffic at a concert. And there's only,
Right.
I think there were 40,000 people at the concert. So it was a good little traffic jam outside, but normally we've never had a problem.
God.
Do you guys have a
40,000
tailgate
people.
party during the traffic jam? You know.
Yeah. Well, let me put it. We totally missed the opening act, and we missed
Oh, did you?
and we missed the first 3 songs of the Stones, and we left 3 hours before the Stones went on stage. So, you know, and I
Wow.
only lived 20 miles from the Cotton Bowl.
I got you.
So yeah,
Well,
everybody's complaining about the traffic situation.
Well, I guess we might as well have a little Stones conversation before we move on to more Elvis. I mean, I saw the Rolling Stones for the first time 1971 or 2 at the Long Beach Arena, downtown Long Beach, California. My wife was there too, and a lot of my friends from Henderson. I had an apartment in Long Beach at the time. It was like a revolving door. A couple of my buddies from Henderson, Nevada would move in. One at a time they'd leave, 2 more would take their place. I was like the sole survivor. They just kept coming and going. But we all went down and saw the Stones together. Some of my lifelong friend Claude Cox was there. You know, I think Steve Rothstein and Walt Hall, and just a bunch of my crazy friends. Anyway, so we all went down and saw the Rolling Stones, and it was the Exile on Main Street concert. The Exile on Main Street was the album that they'd put out. And I've been wanting to buy that ever since because I've had it before on CD, but I don't have it on vinyl right now. And then 26 years later, my oldest daughter bought Betty and I for Christmas tickets to see the Rolling Stones. Boy, were we excited. Then we opened it up and it was like in Portland, Oregon, 12 or 1,400 miles away. And I said, I'm not going to pay for plane tickets. So we drove up there and drove back.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a long ride, but that was the Bridges to Babylon tour. And the one I've got the hat and the T-shirt from that I bought. And that was 26 years apart. 2 years ago, they announced they were going to be playing in San Diego, and that's the No Filters tour that they're on now. Yeah. And then COVID hit. And, time just kept going by, and nothing was changing, and nobody was showing concerts or having concerts. And I started calling up wanting a refund. They kept saying, hey, you can't get a refund because it wasn't canceled. It was only postponed. So finally, I called up another time and said, I don't care, man. This is taking too long. I'll buy another ticket if I have to. I want a refund. And they said, oh, we sent you an email. You missed the window of time. You had to contact us to get a refund. And at that point, I had to unleash my secret weapon on them. I turned Betty loose on them, and the money was redeposited into my debit card the very next day. She just tore him a new one. A much better job than I can do. Anyway, so we got our money back, but we had plane. It's not that far. I mean, I drove to Portland, but I didn't want to drive, 450 miles to San Diego. So we had plane tickets, we had hotel rooms, and now I'm kind of bummed because after seeing the videos you put on, Dan, and hearing what everybody's saying, because the Stones, they're just so good,
Yeah,
they're just crazy how good they are. Richie, did you ever see the Stones?
I never saw the Stones, but I had a funny thing happen one night. You guys know about the MGM Hotel in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
When I was selling real estate there in Vegas, we had a big, the broker, a lady by the name of Rosa Herwick. She was the broker of our office, and she just got elected president of the board of realtors. Our office was in Henderson, but it covered all of Vegas and everything. She just got elected president. They had a big dinner at the MGM, big banquet room. Right? Live band, but it wasn't the Stones. But across the hall, the Stones were playing in concert. In their big auditorium, you just right outside there was a bar, and then it went into some other doors, and it was the concert place. Crazy.
Wow.
I'm sitting out in, taking a break from the dinner, and you could hear them and stuff. And I saw Fred Gerard there. He was there to see the Stones.
Oh, you saw Fred Gerard. Oh my God.
So I'm going, I didn't even know they were there. I knew they were coming. I didn't know that was that night, but I wasn't paying attention, But I think the cheapest tickets were, the worst seats were like, I don't know, at least $50, at least.
Were they?
Yeah, but they went up from there. There was seats as high as $800. So
speaking of ticket prices, I really lucked out in this deal. My son treated me, and
Great,
because we're both veterans, Navy veterans, and he's a member of some veterans organization, and on this tour, a section of the tickets were set aside for the veterans, and
gotcha.
somehow my son signed up for it, and he gets a phone call saying you got 4 tickets, and it cost him $15 for 4 tickets total.
Oh my gosh!
No way!
It cost me $3.75 to see the Rolling Stones.
That's the best deal I've ever heard, man.
Oh my God, that's crazy. What about my ticket? Go ahead.
Well, the tickets are actually those seats were $120 a piece, so we got $480 worth of tickets for $15.
Wow!
Nice.
So it pays. Sometimes it pays to be a veteran. So
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Robbie. How about you? Have you seen the Stones in concert?
I've seen it one time at the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit in 1980. In 1982, I think, was that the Tattoo You concert?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Pontiac Silverdome there, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I saw him.
I think there's like 7. Go ahead.
I saw him on Halloween of '81, which is the same tour. I guess it carried over into '82. But yeah, that was probably the worst concert because we had Fabulous Thunderbirds open up, then we had ZZ Top, then right when the Stones hit the stage, we had a Texas downpour that lasted for like 3 hours.
Oh my God!
On Halloween, so it was cold. We were wet. We weren't dressed.
Oh no!
We were freezing. but still enjoyed the concert. And Mick,
Right.
you know, they were in a kind of on a covered area on the stage.
Actually added stuff
And
Halo
Mick said, "The heck with this," you know. So he just came out in the rain with us, you
which
know.
means
You know what's crazy? When I saw the Stones the very first time at the Long Beach Arena in Long Beach,
which means
we
rain.
go down there.
I can hear
We
you.
go down there, and
It means
opening for them was Stevie Wonder. Some of you might have heard the story before, but I was a big Stevie Wonder fan. I was really into all the Motown stuff, which Stevie Wonder was a little different than Motown, even though I think they were his label much of the time. It was his own unique brand, more or less. But I really got into him for a while. I mean, I loved all his songs. Stevie Wonder is an amazing talent. Well, Stevie Wonder is opening for the Rolling Stones. And the sad thing was, and I actually felt sorry for him because they left the lights on. They didn't dim the lights like they would when the concert normally starts. And people, throngs of people kept going up and down the aisles and talking loudly. And he played 4 or 5 songs, and he finally goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to get out of here and let you see the band and hear the band you came to see." I'll never forget that line.
Wow.
And when I unboxed the Rolling Stones on one of my shows, I started out unboxing some Stevie Wonder just to give him his due for what happened that night. And that's the way I put it too. So anyway, that's the Stones, and I think it was Bob just said greatest rock and roll band in the is the Stones. And know what? I kind of get away from them for a while when they're not touring and stuff, and you kind of forget that. But the minute they come back, I start feeling that way. I mean, they were great, and they're still great. And if they make it to California, I'm going to get tickets and go, even after everything I've been through. Okay,
I saw a concert on TV. One more thing, I saw a concert on TV, and Bill Clinton was at the Stones concert. The president. Yeah, he was. I think he was president at the time, maybe.
Oh, really?
He was a rock and roll saxophone player.
Oh, yeah.
He was at the concert, and I think he had one of his kids with him or something. I think his wife might have even been with him, but they introduced him, and he stood up and waved to everybody. Rolling Stones concert.
Yeah, I remember seeing him get down on the sax a few times. It's pretty good, It sounded pretty good.
It's just too bad we didn't have Charlie Watts on the rest of the tour.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah.
So we have three of them left, and that's it.
3 of them left. Yeah.
How was the new drummer?
Oh, excellent.
I bet
really
it was.
good.
They don't mess around when they replace him.
No, and the backup singer, Sasha, oh my God. During I got her in that one video. Which song was that? Not Jump Jack Flash, it was the other one.
Wow.
But she did it.
Did they do Brown Sugar?
No, they took that off the set.
I know, I was asking if they
well, a friend of mine, Greg Kotkoff, who's in the chat right now, he said he's actually talking to you, Dan. He goes, back in the 80s, my wife's grandfather's security company toured with the Stones for years. He told us some wild stories over the years of his travels. His name was Stan Damas, D-A-M-A-S. Stan Damas. He was a good man. It's a friend of mine, Greg Kotkoff. We've surfed together a few times, and I recently did some work over at his father-in-law's house. Anyway, that's cool. That's a cool story, Dan. There's Maria Day just came into the chat. Hi, Maria. You gotta be happy when you see your friends show up, and really appreciate everybody in the chat. I mean, they make the show. What would we be doing without them? So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Elvis, Dan.
Okay. Well, my story is when I was 15 years old, I was a sophomore in high school, and we moved from one school district to another school district.
Mm-hmm.
The second school district wouldn't let me enroll because I hadn't done the midterm exams at the first school. And they said, well, look, we're not going to let you get in school until you finish those tests. And it was coming up to Christmas holidays and all that. And my parents said, well, we're going to just set this one out until after the first of the year. So I have no school to go to. My sister was married to a sailor stationed in Hawaii. And I've been talking about wanting to go to Hawaii to visit my sister. And my parents said, well, why don't you go ahead and pack your bags? She goes, this is a good time for you to do this. You get some time off. So that was back in the days when you could pack your 15-year-old, put him on a 747 and ship him to the other side of the world. And,
right. And feel comfortable doing it. Yeah.
So I get to Hawaii only to find out my sister and my brother-in-law are on another island on a Navy family tour. So I'm in Honolulu by myself with $20. That's all I've got. and my sister's address. And I was able to convince the manager that I was the brother, and they gave me keys to the apartment. So I had so for 3 days I was a 15-year-old going wild on Waikiki, you know.
Oh my God.
And then one day my sister and brother-in-law finally got home, and the next day we went out to the beach. Well, I was behind the Ilokai Hotel. There's a little lagoon, and I'm swimming in the lagoon. And afterwards, I get out and I'm laying on my towel, sunbathing, and I doze off. Well, next thing I know, I'm hearing all these people running beside me, and I go, "What's going on here?" So I look up, and everybody's going up towards this little heliport right there on Waikiki Beach.
Okay.
And I told my sister, I said, somebody's coming in. That must be pretty famous because a lot of people are showing up. So I get up and I go over there, and I see these Elvis Presley banners, and I go, Elvis Presley's going to land here. Had no idea what for at the time. So being a 15-year-old, I was able to nudge my way up through the crowd up to the fence. And from that point, that's when I started my home movies, and that's how I got to meet Elvis. You know, when after he landed, he came around to the fence line and was shaking hands with everybody, and so I got to shake hands, and I mean, he was right there in front of me, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wasn't really an Elvis fan until I met him. I went, there's something about that guy, you know.
Right.
And at the time, he had just turned 38 years old. He was still a young guy.
Yeah.
Well, he died. He actually died young, 42.
42. Yeah. It wasn't much after that.
Yeah, and he was. This is before he put on the weight too. He was still looking good during the Aloha from Hawaii concert. Yeah. And if we want to roll my home footage here.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have here? Here's the.
Okay, and I'll get it going here.
Okay.
All righty.
There we go.
Yeah, it's amazing you had a camera. This was so long ago.
This is when I'm laying on my towel, and earlier in the day I noticed there's a helicopter pad right there, and I went, "That's pretty cool." Had nothing to do with Elvis at this point yet. Now I knew Elvis was coming.
Oh yeah.
And you see the crowd gathering around.
Right, right.
And over here on the far right, there's a hook and ladder that they've got with cameras mounted up high. And actually, they've recorded every bit of this, and this is actually the very intro of the concert itself, him landing in Hawaii. And that hula girl right there, well, you'll see in a minute. If you ever watch the old Hawaii 5-0 and it comes on and it shows the hula girl, that's her.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
5-0 hula. That's great.
I always liked hula girls.
I think everybody did.
In fact, I have a whole display behind me of knotters. I used to collect knotters, the ones that you put on the dashboard that go back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was collecting, antique ones.
Well, this is a real one, man. This is the real thing.
Julie is asking what year this is. This was 1973.
Perfect.
January 9th to be exact.
I was 16.
Exactly.
I was 15.
Oh man, I'm a year older than you.
I was 16 that coming July.
Okay.
I got a whole case of this stuff behind me. Original knotters with the magnets on the bottom you stuck on your dashboard back in the day.
Here comes Elvis, along with Colonel Parker. His whole entourage is here. Joe Esposito, they're all here. Vernon Presley. Vernon Presley is wearing the purple. He's wearing the purple jacket right there.
Vernon, his dad. Yeah.
And there's Joe Esposito with the white and Red West, Sonny West in the blue shirt.
I'll be darned.
Oh.
He's over there doing a radio interview at this point. Now he comes over to my side of the fence.
What a trip. Got
yeah.
a big high collar and
Look
stuff
at that. Something else.
I mean, look how close I was. I mean, look at that.
Oh, man.
That's great, man.
Yeah, no, that is great.
And now they're on the way to the Hilton.
Well, now they got Hummers nowadays, huh?
If you're doing everything right and you're still not losing weight.
You can take this out now.
Yeah, right.
I thought you had commercials, Royce. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt, but when I was surfing a lot and stuff, we'd make trips to Hawaii and go surfing and stuff. I really got into the whole Hawaiian thing. And like I said, I was running around all the antique stores looking for these things, buying them off of eBay, bidding on them. And I wound up with like a couple of dozen of them, and other stuff too. But anyway,
unfortunately, I never went to the concert. The concert was on the 14th, and I think I left the 12th or the 13th. And but I got back in time into Dallas to watch it live on TV on NBC.
Yeah, that was a great concert.
Right.
Yeah, and that was
the main one, the main Hawaii concert that he did. The one he just came to town for in that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I just watched part of that a couple of days ago.
Aloha from Hawaii. That was the very first satellite broadcast concert in history. And it was at the time, it was the world's largest audience to watch one event.
Damn.
And it was kind of
amazing.
It was a big deal in '73 when satellites were still fairly new, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
That was a great one. That was a great concert.
Yeah, that was great. Did you have some pictures too, Dan? Or
yeah, let me see if I can bring those up here.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, while you're looking for those, I was going to mention that I've got the 3-album set Live in Maui by Jimi Hendrix that his family released, you know. And it came with a Blu-ray DVD where you can watch both concerts too. And he was at the top of his game when he did these 2 free concerts in Maui. He didn't even charge. There's like 200 people there. They built a stage and everything, and pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, Elvis satellite.
There it is.
Okay, add to the stream. Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is Dan. Okay, Lisa Marie.
Yeah, this was
These are the pictures.
this is back in 2013. My wife and I, there was an employee, I forgot who it was, but there was an employee at Graceland that gave us these tickets several months earlier. We decided to go up and see what it was all about. Let me see if I can bring that up. That's me in front of Lisa Marie.
Bob says, has anyone seen the Memphis Mafia, a YouTube video, All the King's Men, The Secret Life of Elvis? Wow.
I watched
No,
that.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, I watched it several times on YouTube, I think.
Okay.
Oh no, it's a documentary. It's out. You know.
Oh, that Graceland?
Yes.
Nice.
That's the living room.
I've never been there. Robbie, have you been there?
Oh yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
There's the big couch.
Right.
Yeah, Dad lived in a little storage areas down in the basement. Jerry Schilling had it first, and then when he moved out, Charlie moved in there, and that's where he lived. He lived at Graceland for 17 years.
Really?
This is the backyard.
Yeah, from 1960 to 1967.
Wow.
Look at this place. Look at the individual air conditioners in the building there. They didn't have central heat or air. The house was built in 1939. And there's one of his records displayed. That's All Right from Sun Records.
No, wait a minute. Am I seeing the same thing you're seeing? I'm still seeing this first picture of like a living room with the white.
That's what I'm seeing.
Let me see what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time I've done the sharing thing here.
Yeah.
You're at the living room. Okay. See did that change?
Look at that couch. That's a party couch right there.
Yeah.
That looks like you get about 20 people on that, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
Dang.
That's great.
They take out the new furniture, put the old furniture in on the party nights, though.
I love that. I love the television. That thing is too much.
But I remember those TVs.
Yep.
I remember our first TV was red and white. It was a 13-inch. It was made of metal.
Yeah.
And Dad would stand out in the front yard in his underwear and twist the antenna trying to get a picture to come in.
Somebody had to stand by it so it would work right.
That TV in that room, that TV in the music room was a gift from RCA to Elvis.
You know what? You could actually read RCA on the TV. I could see that.
That was a gift from RCA to Elvis.
Okay, there's.
Wow. Oh, Sun Records, yeah. Sun Records stuff is all more valuable today. I've got a Jerry Lee Lewis, 2 copies of it, an album, you know, full 12-inch album, and they're both, well, obviously they're Sun Records, but sometimes I go looking for just Sun Records because I mean they seem to carry a little more value.
Of course, there's his grave right there.
Sun Record 45, Elvis Presley run you about $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
And the
45.
78 probably just as expensive, if not more.
Wow, that's
No, that's amazing. Me
Well, they
three,
just have it
Royce.
set up for tours and stuff now or something?
What's that?
Is it just like a tourist thing now? Nobody lives there?
No, nobody
Yeah.
lives there. And you're not allowed. You're not allowed to go upstairs either.
No, it opened up in 1982
Okay.
to the public.
Oh, there's Dan.
Yeah.
I remember the day he died. I was working for an armored car service in Vegas, and I was working the back end that day. We had 3 guys. 2 guys worked up front, 1 worked in the back, and I was working the back that day. And they came. The 2 guys up front came back in and said, "Elvis just died." I said, "Oh wow!" I was about 20 years, 21 years old, I think.
Or did he?
Wow.
That's it.
Okay. Well, I know, Robbie, I know you've got a lot to talk about. Maybe we'll let my brother do tell a little bit first, and then you're going to be like our finale.
Yeah. Go ahead. Basically, it's better after your brother gets done. Just ask me questions. It'd be better to do that than try to.
Yeah. That'd be great. We'll all be excited to do that too. Hey, Richie.
Okay.
So you said you played for like 3 Elvis impersonators. Your band did.
Yeah, we played for. I played for a guy named Dana McKay. He was at the Dunes Hotel. He did. They had a really nice lounge in there where they did. We did afternoon shows there, with Dana McKay. He was a big, tall, lanky guy, looked like Elvis. He didn't.
Yeah.
So I got the gig through a booking agency. Me and my wife at the time went to audition for him and to get some work. Somewhere on the strip and stuff. And they had a couple of duo situations, but they needed a guitar player for this Elvis guy too. So I went out and they rehearsed right there in the lounge, in the mornings. Right. And so I went out, they gave me a tape is what happened. They gave me a tape and I took it home and I learned the show, So I went back and actually we didn't even rehearse. I don't think we just did it. Those the guys that were with them already, they've been already with them for a little bit, I don't know what happened to the guitar player, but anyway, I did that show with him for, I don't know, maybe a month or something in the afternoons. And then we'd worked with a guy named Charles David Snow, and he was a young Elvis. He looked just like him. You couldn't tell him apart. And he had all the jumpsuits that all made for him and the capes and the scarves, and he did the whole act. And he actually worked with us, the Richie and Crocodiles band. We actually backed him up. He came in and started playing with us everywhere we played, and he did 2 shows a night with us. He did the 2nd and the 4th set with us and did his whole Elvis act and everything. And he was even funny like Elvis, how Elvis used to talk, and he would tell jokes, but really kind of shy about telling them, but it was just like him. I mean, he played the whole part. He had like a psychologist that traveled, that was always with him, that just in case he really went into a zone that he was really Elvis.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no, this is true. She'd come in with his manager. He has his own personal manager, and they'd drink coffee all night and have a booth right by the stage. It was too funny. Then the other guy was, oh gosh, I don't remember the other. Oh, this other guy was just a friend of mine. He did all Elvis songs. He was a little chubby dude named Tom Ageniga. And he sounded just like, didn't look hardly nothing like him, but he sounded like him. And I let him join the band, and we started doing a bunch of songs of Elvis and stuff. But I really didn't get into Elvis until, I don't know when it was. I was older though. Well, I liked him when I was younger, and I really loved his movies, but I didn't appreciate him as a musician, right, and a singer until I got older. Then I started watching him closer, and I seen that there was just nobody that had that kind of heart, man. That heart and soul that Elvis had. He was like one of a kind on that, And they used to stay up all night after the gigs and play piano and sing gospel and all that stuff. I watched a bunch of stuff about him, and he just was really, really a heart and soul person. And
Yeah.
I didn't even appreciate that until I got older and started feeling
Right.
some vibes like, some musicians really did, So I was late bloomer on the King, but I really started enjoying him. I'm not talking about ancient. I was not that old, but I was probably, I don't know, I was at least well into my 20s before I started really appreciating, Elvis.
Well, do you remember when Elvis was making that movie there in Henderson? It was like a little oval dirt track for racing cars, and you and me and
I
Dad
remember
went
the
down.
track. Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
track.
don't know if Donna was with us or not, but it was what an eye opener for me watching a movie be made because when you watch the movie, it looks like they're going 300 miles an hour and things are flying by so quick. When you're
Right.
watching them make it, it's like one car is kind of tethered to another car and they're doing about 10 miles an hour and then that go over and
Right.
it runs into hay bales. But it looks like World War III in a freaking movie.
You know what? One more thing used to crack me up about Elvis. He would do all these movies, and they'd have all this cool music going, and he'd do these movies with these dancers, right? And he'd like be in the middle, and he would start doing the moves with them, But he was kind of dorky, but he was good at it, though,
I always like it. I always like how the band seemed to appear out of nowhere when he started singing and dancing. Where'd they come
all of a
from?
sudden the band's over here, cooking with their But anyway, I used to enjoy his dancing because he figured out a way to dance with them professional dancers, and I don't know how you put it, and get by with it, and do it good. But it was his own thing, I think. I don't think he did much rehearsing with it. I think let's
Right.
just go through this once or twice, and he was there,
Well, he had the
Anyway.
moves, I'll tell you. He really had the moves.
He used to
And,
crack me up with dancing with those girls. That was just something. He used to do. And
That's
Margaret and
crazy.
shit,
Oh yeah.
That's almost like Mick Jagger when he's on stage and does all those weird moves.
Yeah.
I know.
Bizarre moves, but I like watching it.
Right. He's got his own style. Yeah.
The
He's
rooster.
really hard to imitate the moves
Yeah.
he makes. I saw a guy in
Right.
Vegas that tried to do it, and you just wanted to leave. You just didn't even want to look at him,
Hmm.
You just wanted to leave. Anyway, I'm good.
Well, Elvis definitely had rhythm. I mean, it was just real natural for him.
That's the way I feel.
So Robbie, okay, so your father worked for Elvis for how many years?
17 years. He worked for him from 1960 to 1977, but they met in the military and when they was in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. That's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
that is.
The first time they met was at Ellis Auditorium in Memphis. Charlie was already on TV. He worked for the Red Foley Show. He was with the Foggy River Boys in a gospel quartet. Of course, Elvis was a big gospel guy. And they both got drafted in '58. And Charlie rode on. Back then they traveled by ship to go overseas. And they met up there on the ship. And Charlie, they had to put Elvis in the officers' quarters on the ship because everybody was bothering him, and he had Charlie stay with him in the officer quarter on the ship over. Once they got to Germany, they split up. Elvis was in a tank unit. Charlie was in a cavalry unit. But they played football together over there, and they stayed in touch. When they got back, Elvis was doing the Elvis's Back record, the first one he did when he first come back. And he called Charlie come up, and Charlie sang on the first duet that Elvis ever did with somebody on the Elvis's Back. I'll Be Home Again. That's
okay. Was he drafted? Was there a draft then, or did he just go down on the list?
No, they drafted him. 1958, there was a draft.
Right. Okay.
Some say they drafted him trying to knock him out of rock and roll. That was never proven, but they weren't liking rock and roll back then, and some people say that the government tried to knock him out. So they drafted him.
I've seen old newsreels on stuff like that, how senators and congressmen were getting up in Congress and calling it the devil's music and trying to ban rock and roll music.
Yeah.
That was But that didn't work out.
until their wives got involved, and you say, "You leave that boy alone," you know.
Yeah, remember the days when they used to break rock and roll records? Rock and roll has got to go.
Oh, exactly. I remember that. That very phrase. So that was in the same time period, I guess.
Well, we did that with disco too. Only we did bonfires.
He wasn't just a singer. Elvis was a movement. He wasn't just he was a movement. His whole thing was just like, here it comes, and it was so powerful. It was like a tidal wave, and I don't know if it's ever been done since then.
No, I don't know. No, it was a movement. I mean, he really swept the whole country off their feet. I mean,
he upset a lot. He upset a lot of young men too, because their girlfriends were just oogling over Elvis. And, so he had mainly female fans at the beginning. The males didn't care for him.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, Bob just asked me, Richie. Bob in the chat asked if the movie was Viva Las Vegas with the racing in it, and I think it must have been.
Well, it was called. What about Speedway?
Speedway and Spin Out.
That's right.
They were both.
Well, Bob, I just don't even remember right now, Bob. I'm gonna have to Google that after the show. Maybe I should have done that before the show.
That means they must have been water skiing on Lake Mead when they did
Speedway 67.
Who was his female co-star?
And Margaret.
That
in Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You used to play Vegas a lot. I
know.
Over the years. They must have been water skiing on. They must have been in the casinos making the movie and dancing and singing, and then skiing on Lake Mead, where we used to ski.
Yeah, we used to ski there a lot. But
we skied right where Elvis skied. See, we got some Elvis going on here.
Lake Mead is almost dry right now.
That's what I heard.
I know, it's terrible. Yeah. No, that was like 9 miles. 9 miles from where we lived was Lake Mead. And Vegas Wash was 9 miles. And that was, when we were little, Vegas Wash was still usable. Then it got to be too dirty there. And you went on down to the marina or the other better beaches and stuff. Yeah. We got a lot of trouble out there when I was a teenager.
Bobby Simmons, you remember Bobby Simmons, Bobby and Johnny Simmons?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Across the street. Well, he had a video on Facebook today. They must have been on Lake Mead in a boat, because you remember the canyon, how the mountains were brown, and then where the water level dropped, it would be white, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was over by the canyon area, and the white part was big, It was really, that's how low the water is. I heard they changed the material on skis that you could handle the rocks that were sticking up.
Yikes!
Oh God,
that's joke.
It's crazy because that was such a big lake, and I mean,
I know
you could find cove after cove that was just empty, and the water was clear, and you could see the fish in there and stuff, the big ones, the stripers. Yeah, you can see the big stripe.
Largemouth and stripers there.
I think I know why you laughed a minute ago. I took my ski boat back to Vegas. It's been a few years now, and before I left, there was something always going wrong with it. It was either, the distributor, the starter, or the generator, alternator. Every time I took it out, I got like towed back in. So before I left, I changed everything. A fuel pump. I put everything in new. I was not going to get stranded again. And I get stranded out there. Milana was with us too. I get stranded out there, and finally someone towed me all the way to Temple Bar, Arizona. It's a big lake. So I'm in Arizona. It's like,
you up, didn't I?
Yeah, I thought that's what you were laughing about. You were all pissed off that I called you to come and help us.
Man, you were like 100 miles away, I wasn't pissed off once we got going, but it must have been just.
No, I know. Well, I get out on the dock after we get towed into Temple Bar, Arizona, and there's one of these huge thermometers on the dock. It was dark. It was like midnight. It was like 116 degrees in the dark on that dock.
Oh my gosh! You're Temple Bar, Arizona, right?
Yeah.
That's like Bullhead City,
Oh yeah.
That's the hottest place, and I know it's the hottest place in Nevada. I don't know might be the hottest place in the whole country as far as the United States goes. Bullhead City.
Right. No, it gets, yeah. Vegas and Henderson get hot. So anyway, so let's get back to Robbie and all his experiences with Elvis.
Okay.
So, did you get to spend much time around Elvis personally? I mean, up close and personal?
No, that's the bad part about it. Charlie's my stepdad. I didn't get with him until the mid '80s, until he passed away. I wasn't with Charlie when he worked for Elvis or lived there.
Okay.
He's my stepdad.
This is Donovan. This is Donovan. He's saying hello. Say, bend down, Donovan. Get down. Bend down. See his face. This is Donovan. He's on.
Hey, Donovan. How are you, buddy?
Donovan.
Hi.
Yeah. He's looking up stuff on the internet that he likes. You know, feeding his mind with a bunch of garbage. No, he don't do too bad. You see my picture right there? That when I had black hair? No.
That's actually Elvis, not you.
I know. Anyway, when you mentioned before that Elvis had mostly female fans, that's how I was, you know, female fans.
Also known as a harem.
Yeah, a harem scarum. Remember, that was his worst movie ever made.
Did you bring any pictures of when you were playing in the bands? I got some pictures of you somewhere.
Me?
I got a McKenna's Creek. Was that Richie and the Crocodiles at Kenna's?
That was Richie and the Crocodiles. That's a good one. That was Mike, the drummer's mother, took that picture in his living room at her house. She was a photographer, a real photographer, and that picture was really popular.
At least
that picture got us gigs, you know, and kept the place packed.
Hopefully, you never ended up.
We had to back up that picture. You know?
Hopefully, none of you ended up in a back room with a cat. Alone.
That was some tough shoes to fill. That picture was.
Oh yeah. Well, then I got another one of you playing that Les Paul Custom, the one that got stolen in Boulder City.
Oh, you got that? You got all those pictures. I don't have any of them. I got them somewhere. I think my wife has them in her archive somewhere. She got some of them from you and some of them from Little Rich and stuff like that. But I got
you and Kelly and Dwayne and Barry with your purple suits on or something like that.
With our candy suits. We were called Fresh Candy.
How many people here know what it's like? Know what happens when you leave a kid alone with a priest?
Get out of here!
Yeah.
You know what happened?
All right, Donovan. The comedy hour's over. Okay.
Okay. So Robbie, you said you had over 200 Elvis albums.
What happens when you do that?
Okay. My wife just got up and said, "Don't let him get on there." Okay.
Robbie, you have over 200 Elvis albums.
200 Elvis albums, 8-track tapes, CD, box set. Yeah.
Was any of that part of like your dad's collection?
Yeah, that's what I was showing earlier when you were talking about the aloha from Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Cool.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, look at that.
The album. Dad's on all the records from 1960 till all the way up to Moody Blue. He played on all of them, and they get a copy. Each got a copy when it come out, and I got his record collection.
Right.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. We got. I don't know. Do you have any of our parents' records? Remember that one with the Italian songs that my mom played? Mom played all the time. My mom was the only one in their family not born in Italy. Anyway, so she had this Louis Prima, I think it was, with all these Italian songs. It was pretty funny. I have that, and I think
I wonder what was my favorite record.
Right.
That and Perry Como. No.
Yeah. I have some of that old stuff. I had that Elvis for the longest time, and I'm really bummed that I don't have it anymore. It must have got broke or something.
Well, does anybody know how many albums Elvis actually put out in his lifetime?
A lot.
58.
58.
There you go.
Now, were those all studio albums, and then there was maybe like some live performances on top of that? You think, or
he had 7 live albums. He had 23 studio albums. He had 18 compilations.
Yeah.
It's about 58, no more than 60.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
That answers
Wow.
my question.
17 movie soundtracks, 17 movie soundtracks.
Wow.
Well, where does all the money go today? I mean, is stuff still being sold? I mean, like I said, I just bought this, this Essential Elvis Presley compilation 2-album set with the best songs ever on the back, and really happy to get that. And Blue Hawaii. I mean, who makes the money from all this stuff? Because there's stuff still going on the shelves, new stuff all the time,
Sony BMG.
Okay. So not his
Sony has
heir,
the right.
like his daughter, his ex-wife, and
No,
yeah.
everything that comes out of Graceland goes to them. The
Okay.
music side. Colonel Parker sold off his catalog in 1973 or 1974.
Now, did Michael Jackson buy that?
Huh?
Did Michael Jackson was married to Lisa Marie, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And I don't know how many years that lasted, but who bought
That's what they made that
Elvis?
movie after.
Yeah,
Guess
what?
Who's Coming to Dinner? That's who they made that movie.
Guess Who's Coming
That's a
to
bad
Dinner?
joke.
You got to be old to understand.
Yeah, Sidney.
Yeah.
Sidney.
Tracy,
Sidney
remember?
Poitier.
Sidney Poitier.
Poitier. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That was a hilarious movie. Michael
Okay,
Jackson,
so
Lisa Marie was your roommate.
So
Go
Graceland,
ahead.
is Graceland owned by anybody, or is it kind of like a state, kind of a state monument now? I mean, like Hearst Castle. William Randolph Hearst built Hearst Castle, brought exotic animals from all over the world, and he finally
Elvis
escaped the state of California. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Elvis is a state to Lisa Marie, but she couldn't take control of it till she was 25. So Priscilla oversaw it. She's the one that started Graceland, so you could start touring it. So when she
Okay.
turned 25, Lisa Marie took over the estate. But Colonel Parker sold off Elvis's catalog in '73 because Elvis was divorcing Priscilla, didn't have enough money to pay her. It was a $2 million settlement. So he sold the rights to RCA. Well, RCA is not in business anymore. It's Sony BMG. So
Okay.
Sony BMG has the rights to Elvis music.
Wow.
Elvis Presley Entertainment has the rights to his likeness and everything else.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
He never did get married again, did he?
No, he was married to Ginger Alden, the girl that was with him the day he died. He had taken his TCB ring, that big one he wore on stage. He took the real diamond out and made her an engagement ring, but he passed away before they could tie the knot.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of chemistry between him and Anne Margaret. I mean, they were fun to watch in those Elvis movies. I liked all those movies. They were fun.
He made one, Mary Tyler Moore, even. I can't remember the name of it, but
That was a serious one.
Change of Habit.
Yeah, that's right.
was that
Change of
was
habit.
that one? Change of Habit. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
Maria
it was,
Day, Maria Day in the chat just said Michael Jackson was married to Lisa Marie for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, Dad had a funny story about that. That they always asked Dad if Elvis was still alive, and he goes, "Yeah, he's still alive." He says, "You know how I know?" And they said, "How?" And he said, "Well, they found a blue suede shoe in part of Michael Jackson's anatomy. They found a blue suede shoe."
That's a good
That's how
one.
he answered that.
That's
That's how
a
he
good one.
answered that question. If he's alive or not?
That's
Found a blue.
hilarious. Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, have you heard anything about what Bob's saying here? He says supposedly Lisa Marie Presley is broke in the hole over $1 million. Wow.
Yeah, it was 16 million. That Priscilla just sold off 3 of her houses in California, and she moved into like a condominium. Yeah, she was $16 million in debt. I don't know what she is now, but that's what she started out at, $16 million in debt.
That's Priscilla or Lisa Marie?
Lisa Marie.
Okay.
She
Lisa
was 16
Marie.
million. and Priscilla sold her homes off to help pay it off. It might be down to, I don't know. She just lost her son, Benjamin. He committed suicide. She's having a hard time right now.
Wow.
No, that's
She looked
sad.
just like her dad, man. Lisa Marie did. She
Yeah.
looked so much like, I mean, it was amazing.
Benjamin looked just like Elvis too.
Yeah,
You know,
Ben.
I don't think I ever saw him.
Elvis met Priscilla. I think she was 14 when they met. But the truth is, they didn't actually get married until she was what, 22, something like that. I mean, they waited a long time.
I think she's 21. That was a weird situation. Lamar Fife said when he first seen her over in Germany, he said, "We're all going to die." And Elvis says, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "If they find this girl in here, we're all going to die." He said, "You can't get that girl." Well, you know what happened to Jerry Lee Lewis, and his young boy.
I remember he got kind of blackballed after when he from an England thing he did or something. Was that what happened?
Yeah. They blackballed him. He went from $10,000 a night to like a couple $100 a night working in little clubs.
But he had like brought like a 13-year-old or 14-year-old with him to England or something like that.
Was that his cousin?
13-year-old second cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was related to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did actually get married, right?
Huh?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They married.
They got married eventually. Yeah.
Went to England and they found out how
big deal though. But they didn't go for that in England. The little young girls with older guys. They didn't go for that stuff.
Oh no.
He went on. He got there with a big smile on his face, and he didn't leave with a big smile on his face. It was like, oh my God, I got to get out of here before they kill me.
Elvis finally talked Priscilla's parents into letting her come stay at Graceland, but Priscilla stayed with Vernon and his wife Dee that he met in Germany. She stayed with them until she was 18, supposedly.
Gotcha.
And then she moved into Graceland when she was 18, and then they got married when she was 21, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
The
moral of the story is just because you play rock and roll don't mean you can get away with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, at least back in the 50s.
Right.
Right.
Right now you never know, right? With the way things are going,
Well, what's crazy is, there's so many girls so excited to get backstage with rock stars and stuff like that, and meet them and everything. And it's like, I'm sure nobody asked for an ID, to check their age. I mean, I don't know how you can tell sometimes 16, 19, 20, 15. I mean, you can make yourself look older,
I wonder how many Ozzy Osbourne lookalikes you can find around the country, from all the kids they probably had, right? Like, hey, that guy looks like John Lennon. Well, he was in town about 15 years ago, stuff like that.
Funny. Yeah.
You never know, right?
No.
I mean, that is funny, right? They should have checked IDs, definitely.
You played in bands. Was there always a big group of girls outside the hotel room door? Or?
When we played, we were lucky enough to play at a lot of the same places for a long time,
Yeah.
So, it was hard. Of course, there was girls and stuff around. I don't want to talk about it right now, but the thing, I'm just kidding. But there's always girls around, right? But you can only get involved so much.
Yeah.
Especially if you're married and stuff.
Right.
You want to have a bunch of women around giving you dirty looks and stuff when your wife's in there some night, and stuff like that. I was playing a gig one night and 3 girls came in that I was seeing. 3 different ones. and they had a Victor Wellbone was playing in the band with me. He was playing guitar.
Oh, was he?
The place was called Whiskey River. It was way across Vegas, big old giant bar, right? It was a fun place, but the one I was really going with steady was she was in there, and then this other one I just been seeing a few times showed up, and then another one from a little ways in a few months back showed up, and I'm like, and me and Victor's like cracking up because he knows them all, right? And there's this door. There was the door on the stage that went outside, right? It wasn't like backstage; it went outside. So he goes, "You better get out. You better go out the door, back door." I don't know. It all worked out though.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. They all kind of left.
One second. You guys keep talking.
It all worked out, and there was no problems. I mean, I'm not bragging or nothing. It just happened.
Well, I know
one stupid story,
Well, I know managing a heavy metal band, I saw a lot of stuff, and it wasn't always backstage either. Sometimes it was actually on stage when the show was going on.
That's crazy.
And some of the women were just crazy.
You're right. We only heard about stuff like that.
Oh, I've got a lot of digital. I've got a lot of digital pictures.
Oh, great! Yeah,
of things like that happening behind the speakers. Yeah, right behind the speakers.
Oh
all
my
sorts
gosh.
of things.
Okay.
Nobody could see, but who all was back there? Nobody from the audience could see what was going on. But there were things going on.
There was things going on. Oh my goodness! You'll have to do a documentary. Dan McHugh's documentary. What would you call it?
I don't know. I have to blur a lot of faces. That's for sure. Because some of these people are married and got kids. Well, they not at the time. Not when this was going on. They weren't married with kids then, but they were still single guys. But yeah, you don't want to bring that back up.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't find what I was looking for. I'll find it eventually and show it. So anyway, Robbie, back to you. Are you what do you see your show being like? I mean, are you gonna interview people? I mean, some of the shows are interviewing people. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
All right. There's a couple other YouTube channels that they show their Elvis records and new finds and talk about. They really don't go in depth about the studio sessions, who was playing on the record and stuff like that. I want to kind of go more in depth of what went on behind the scenes with these albums.
Oh, okay,
cool. Dad gave me a lot of information about how stuff was recorded and who was on it, and just go a little bit more in depth.
Right.
If I can get folks to come on and interview them, I'll do that too. Most of everybody in the Elvis camp has passed away. There's only a couple left. So
yeah. Well, he'd be 82 right now if he was still alive.
Yeah. I think Jerry Schilling and Billy Smith and I think one other, and most of the studio players, a lot of them passed away, but there's still a lot of them left too. The guy who played in Nashville with Elvis and stuff. But I want to go a little bit more in depth about these albums, the cover art and stuff like that. Basically, the other channels, they'll just show the record and just show the label of the album, and I just want to get more in depth with it. If people want to see that or hear that, and I can share the Charlie Hodge stories. Like I said, he worked for Elvis for 17 years, and he was the stage director. He was Elvis's vocal coach. He was in a couple Elvis movies. He was in Clam Bake as the barber.
Okay.
Elvis fans eat that up. They love hearing stories about Elvis and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was something else. I mean,
wouldn't Elvis be 86 right now?
Yeah, he was born in 35, January 8th, 1935. He'd be 86.
Yeah,
86.
Almost 87.
Oh wow, I was off by several years. Okay.
Yeah. Dad was born in 34. He was a year older than Elvis. But yeah, they were best friends. He was with him for 17 years, and I know he loved him to death. I would play Elvis music at home, and sometimes I guess a certain song would hit in the right way, and he'd kind of yell at me and tell me to turn it off.
Right.
Certain stuff bothered him.
Yeah.
But Charlie, Dad, he was you put him out in public, and he was a firecracker. But you just like turning a light switch on, you instant entertainer. He was the jester of the if Elvis's crowd was a king, he was the court jester of the crowd. But you get him at home, you couldn't get two words out of him.
Nice.
Well, you talk about how Elvis and Charlie met, you know, while he's in the Army. I understand how that camaraderie is when you're in the military. You know, you're away from home, and you make friends for life. I mean, my best friend until he passed away in 2006, we were friends for 32 years. And we didn't know each other before the military, but we became good friends. And you know, no matter what, you know, we're almost like brothers.
Yeah, you don't even have to know, if you're a veteran, you don't even have to really know the other guy. You know what you've been through and where you've been. I was in Desert Storm, and all the guys I was in the war with, we still check on each other every day.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you experience things that most normal people don't experience. I caught the tail end of Vietnam, and you know, especially here the last few months with this Afghanistan evacuation. I was in the Vietnam evacuation, so even though we made mistakes back then, there was huge mistakes made this time around.
Exactly.
And as far as vetting people, nobody got to this country until they were vetted. They were vetted in the camps on Guam, where I was at. We made sure we knew who was coming to the United States, and a lot of them had to be sponsored as well. They couldn't even leave the refugee camps unless they had a sponsor from a church or an organization. So we knew who was coming. They did totally wrong this time. They just loaded planes and dropped people off. They don't know who they picked up and dropped off.
Right.
And so when they try to compare it to the Vietnamese evacuations, not even close.
No, not at all. Not at all. We were in. They pulled us out of Germany, 7th Corps, and we didn't stay that long. We was in and out in about 6 months. That war didn't last very long. We annihilated them.
Right.
But Schwarzkopf was a really good commander.
Yeah, General Schwarzkopf. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Good. I remember those days. But I don't know. We get ourselves involved in some things that, I mean, that was Afghanistan. That was America's longest war, like 10 years.
20.
I don't think we ever 20. I don't think we ever had an exit strategy.
No, exactly. I was ready to say that there was no strategy to get out of there. There was no end game. You got to have an end game.
It was like we were going to stay there until we were 100% confident that the army we had trained and equipped with all our best stuff that is now in the hands of the Taliban could hold on to the country. But I would read things. I would read things like the Taliban was controlling more of the country than they controlled before they were ran out. You know, I mean, those countries aren't easy to like get control of.
You know, just like in Vietnam, you know, we knew the communists were coming from North Vietnam. They were making their way into the South. When they got to a certain point, that's when we realized we got to get out of here.
Right.
Well, in Afghanistan, we waited too late, you know, or we didn't. Something happened where the Taliban figured they could keep on moving. Nothing was going to stop them.
Right.
And they weren't anticipating them moving that quick. Well, they should have. They should have.
Right. Well, it's funny because it was like the army we spent all those years training and equipping just left their stuff and just quit. They didn't want to fight.
Well, one of the differences too with Vietnam and Afghanistan, we were no longer literally fighting in the war until January of '73. In fact, I was in Hawaii during the Elvis Presley concert. That's when they stopped our actual involvement in fighting. So the rest of that time for the next couple of years, we'd already got our stuff out. And we basically just had personnel there. And of course we had our embassy, but we didn't leave equipment behind. We got the equipment out. This time we didn't. We got, which is a little scary.
I don't know how we can just throw all that money and equipment away. It's just beyond me how they can do that. It's just really weird. And all these trillions of dollars they're trying to say they're going to spend, trying to pass these bills and stuff. I don't know where they think they're going to get it.
Yeah. Well, they said it's all paid for.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
will be. It will be when they raise the taxes high enough and start fining people for not getting vaccinated and all that stuff.
Wow, have you heard some of those fines?
Yep.
Oh,
what was it, 40,000 or 14,000 a person from OSHA?
Well, the limit I think is 700,000. That's the ceiling.
Oh,
they
dear.
could start low and they could go as high as 700,000 per incident.
That seems so ridiculous. I can't even swallow it.
So if you got a company of 100 people and you willfully disobey them, they can literally legally charge you if it passes, $700,000 per incident per day. I mean, that puts you out one day. You're out of business.
I keep telling people you need to brush up on your Chinese.
I thought OSHA was bad.
What is OSHA fining for? What are they fining people for?
Not being vaccinated.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I mean, I've got the vaccination. I got it.
I do too.
So
the VA, mine.
But I still think people should have the choice. They use that for the abortion. My body, my choice. Same thing with the medicine in my body. It's my body, my choice. How come it doesn't work this time around? But but I think everybody should make their own choice. I don't think
it's all going to come to a head and it's going to stop. It's all going to stop, down the road here. It's going to probably be another 6-8 months that we're going to be pushing this stuff, and then it's going to start fading out because it's just getting too ridiculous.
Well, the last deadline I heard is January 4th. It was December 8th. Then they moved it to January 4th when this all kicks in. But we got the supply chain problem. You're going to fire all these pilots and truck drivers and everything, and we already got a supply chain problem. That'll just make it even worse for us.
No, it's ridiculous right now. Everything's out of control right now. Groceries, gas, everything.
Right.
Everything you want is.
Well, something I noticed here around town. Something I noticed around town here, in actually several cities around, you go to the gas pump, and where it has, you got your unleaded, Supreme, and all that, and different prices. Yeah. Well, there's a sticker of Joe Biden pointing at the price, and it says, "I did that," and it's on all the pumps. So
that's funny, man.
First, I thought I just saw something unusual, and I posted it. No, everybody's looking. I found it here at this gas station. It's everywhere. Everybody's starting to put those stickers on the gas pumps.
That's too funny.
That reminds me of that poster of George W. Bush, looking kind of like around the corner, smiling, saying, "Do you miss me yet?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. Anyway, politics.
Well, we had 2 major pipelines that were shut down, and we didn't need anybody else's oil, so now we do.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem right there. And Texas is even offering to help us out with oil, and I think a couple other states that are producers are trying to help us out, but the government's refusing it. They want to buy from,
Well, unleaded gas here in my area is like $3.09 a gallon. Where is it? Where y'all are at?
It's I just saw the lowest I saw was $3.35.
Whoa!
But it was $2.18 about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I just bought diesel about 3 days ago for my pickup. It was $4.59 with my 20-cent grocery store discount.
Jeez.
Yeah, we put gas in my wife's car today, and it was like $4.49 or something down in Santa Maria. So yeah, it's just and the last diesel I saw since I bought some about a week ago was $5.25.
Wow.
Maria Day says she's paying $4.22.
There's places that are over $7 right now. I can't remember. I saw it. Huh?
Wow, over $7. Maria, where do you live at? Where do you live at?
739 somewhere back east, I think.
Okay.
I guess they make a lot more money back there.
I don't know.
Yeah. You should see the rent here too. The rent for like a small house. I mean, just a little small 2 bedrooms, like, 1700. My son's paying $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, and it's a new one, but it's $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in Camas, Washington. I mean, Camas ain't no big deal, really, but it's a nice little town. But still, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Fast.
Well, I know my house is worth 5 times than what it was when I bought it.
Right.
5 times higher. And
I mean,
luckily,
that's funny. That's great, but
it's great. Yeah, it's great for me because I'll
Right.
Instead, and I'm never going to sell my house. So, but I do have to pay
Right.
the taxes on it. So what I'm doing, every time the interest rates go down as low, I refinance it and I take equity out of the house.
Well, you probably did that recently then, right?
I'm in a process. Well, I did it a year ago and I'm doing it again now. I'm taking equity out because I'm going to be
Oh, you're
dead.
just taking equity out? That's cool. Yeah.
I'm taking it out now, to help.
You might as
improve the
well.
house and-
You might as well. You still got the house. You got some cash. Yeah. Why not? Do some things,
Yeah. I mean, I'm paying the taxes on it, on
Right.
the value of it. So I might as well get the benefit of the cash that I'm paying for.
Heck yeah. That's a good idea. Let it work
Yeah.
for you, huh?
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm still paying under $1,000 a month.
Then when you get old enough, you do a reverse mortgage and you ain't got to worry about it no more. And
Well-
you got all your money.
Oh,
You
how-
got all your money too.
I'm just not sure how much older I'm going to get.
Yeah, I know. Me neither.
Well,
I
none of
think
us
I got another
know
good-
that. None of us know that. It
Yeah.
seems like every day I hear about another friend of mine that's got some, illness. Some of them terminal.
I'm almost afraid to call some of my old friends. I'm afraid they're going to get told they're dead, and that's just really weird these days. I've got friends at my age, 65 years old that are already dead, and they died a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miles, J.C. White. I mean, the list just. We were at our class reunion last month back in Vegas, and they did this little slideshow of all of the people that had died from our class, and it was just
Oh wow.
so so many close friends. I mean, Rocky Rollins and Steve
Right.
Rothstein and Mark Baumer, and I mean, just. I was like shocked, at how many.
Mhm.
I mean, close friends that we spent the night at each other's house when we were kids, walked to school together, party together as we got older, drink,
Right.
crawl on our hands and knees drunk. I mean, in alleys,
Right.
But to see these people dying so young is just crazy,
It is. It's a horrible thing,
You talk about high school reunions. I know high schools are putting out Facebook pages for memorials. So you can go to this page and find out who your classmates have gone.
Okay.
Really?
Wow.
And every time someone detects, oh, my classmate just died, they update, they post it. So you can kind of,
Right.
not every high school does it. It's just a voluntary thing.
Right.
But, my high school and my wife's old high school does that.
Wow.
Did-
Yeah, I'm
did you-
gonna call a friend. I've been wanting to call a friend of mine because he's been on my mind. Really good, one of my best friends in high school, and but I don't. It's weird to me. I've got this feeling, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with him. But you remember the McCall, Chad, and Kurt?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Chad was at our reunion. I hadn't seen
He was?
Chad.
All right.
Yeah, he was at the reunion. There's a lot of people there. Tom Walters,
Yeah.
Greg
Tom
Clow.
Walters.
Me and Greg Clow sat at the same table, and
That's
of course
funny.
Tim Noonan and some of the crazy girls too.
I saw a couple of pictures of. I saw Tim and Claude, and I didn't. It wasn't the night of the reunion. It was like somebody's backyard or something.
Yeah, Claude's backyard. I was there the following day. We had a big,
Yeah.
huge.
That's what I figured.
He
Yeah.
he must have barbecued like 60 steaks.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Claude, he goes all out. We have a great time over there. This guy we're talking about, Claude, our mothers worked together in the casinos in Vegas when we were like 5 years old. So we got babysat together at 5 years old. That's how long I've known him, since I was 5 years old. We go back a long ways. And a lot of crazy shit happened in between too.
Right. We had Sally. Remember the babysitter, Sally?
Yeah. Sally and our older brother Robin fought some drunk off at, was trying to break into our apartment in Victory Village.
I'll be darned.
He lived next door, but he was so drunk he thought this was his. So he put his fist in the glass and was trying to unlock the door. And here's my brother, my 14-year-old older brother. I'm like 5 or something. He's 9 years older than me. And our babysitter, that one had a broom and one had a mop. And as this guy's trying to open the door and slicing his arm all up, there was blood everywhere. They were both happening with these broom and mop handles,
I didn't ever hear about that.
Yeah, well, you were too young, and so that was a crazy night. Claude and I together that night.
Okay, all right, I got to sign off, guys.
Okay, well, yeah, we're all getting pretty close. And Robbie, do you have any closing remarks on your Elvis show? And you're thinking about doing pretty much an exclusively Elvis show, right?
Yeah, I can do other stuff. I can do the other guy's stuff, but
yeah.
Pretty much exclusively Elvis. There's so much stuff you can go over on Elvis. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lifetime worth of stuff.
Now, is this going to be a live show or a pre-recorded type show?
I'm just gonna. Well, I can do something like what we're doing here too. You guys can come on and we can do other stuff. It don't have to be exclusively Elvis. I mean, I collect other stuff too. Especially Beatles and stuff like that. I got Rolling Stones, all this. But that I was on Stefan's show. I think I won four weeks in a row there.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Before I got beat. I mean, I got other stuff. We'll just have to play it by ear.
Right.
But
That's what we all do. That's what we all do. We play it by ear.
You start out something totally different.
Right. But anyway, so I just want to, mention again, to all our friends in the chat that Robbie's going to have a show and it should be fun. And of course, Dan's always had a show and I'm playing out a little bit myself. But yeah. So we've got a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of stuff for all of us to watch. And I want to thank everybody. Dan, any closing remarks here?
Well, I've got a lot of new things coming up. I've got you've probably noticed that I've been doing some test runs on my vehicle, so I can do live cast while I'm driving down the road.
No, I've noticed the day and the night one. Yeah. I actually watched a lot more of that than you might think.
But I've got like 3 different configurations in my truck. It's a lot of it I'll be recording. I won't always go live on it, but
right.
It's good if you're on a road trip. You get outside shots while you're driving.
Well, you have a forward and a backward, then you have something on top of the cab, right? A camera.
Yeah, I've got one in the rear, one in the rear of the vehicle, one on the dash, one on the roof. Another configuration is 3 cameras on the roof. One that looks left, right, and one straight ahead. So I can sit there in my vehicle and switch between the cameras, or I can have the software. Or I could have the software automatically switch between the cameras.
Right. Well, I think this show is kind of evolving. I started out unboxing vinyl, and it was a solo for a long time, and it was pre-recorded. Then I started unboxing live, and then I knew that Michael McVeigh and Pat the Wizard, Pat Lucero, and then Michael Altini had asked me a long time ago. He goes, we're gonna put a show together. You're gonna come with us, aren't you? Because they know I'd left the other shows too. And I go, yeah, sure. And then time went on and nothing happened. And I did my first little show, had to do with actually losing in the wax competition. Mm-hmm. And Jeff saying, no, Royce, you order something. You're kind of entertaining sometimes. You go ahead and order vinyl for yourself. I don't want it. And so I did. And then I made a show of that. I was showing the vinyl that I got, for losing the wax competition. Then a week went by and I did another one and then another one. And then I got on a regular routine of first every Saturday night. And then I asked those guys, McVeigh and Altini and them, that were putting their own show together. I goes, well, you guys want to just kind of park yourself here for a while until you get your own I knew they were going to do their own thing. That was I knew that before I even did anything myself. And so they started showing up, and sometimes it was difficult. They're not, they're not going to be committed like the show owner is going to be committed, right? So if something came up, so they'd miss here and there, and then if two of them didn't show, the third one didn't want to come, and that was okay. I don't blame them. I mean, come on, it's Fridays and Saturday nights. It's like what the hell's wrong with us? I mean, back before COVID, when the Carlton Hotel was jamming, if you went down there on Friday or Saturday night, before the night was over, everybody you knew would walk in the door to buy a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a big restaurant, they had a lounge, they had a sushi bar, huge hotel that was just beautiful, and somebody spent $22 million rebuilding that old hotel. And it was like first class. And so it's hard. It's like I keep trying to figure out. Like I noticed that my viewership, like in the chat, the amount of the viewers at one time has been dropping over the months, and I really think a lot of it has to do with the fact that things started opening up again, and people could go back to their pubs and clubs and meet their friends out and do the kind of things that they used to do. And so I find myself wondering sometimes, well, maybe Friday and Saturday nights are the worst nights to have a show, because that's when people you've worked all week and you want to go out and meet your friends and have dinner and drinks, So I don't really know anymore. I started out on Saturday, and then I think one of the guys said he's got a conflict. Why don't you move it to Friday? And then everybody wanted Friday, so I moved it to Friday. It was no big thing. But I just wonder if the weekends are the best,
That's why, live shows are good, but it's also good to do like what you've done in the past. Go out and record something, make your video, and you can premiere that anytime you want, and it's always going to be sitting there for people to come back and watch later on, just like your live shows are too.
Yeah, they're always available. Just go to the channel, and there's like 30, 35 live unboxings. I think I've done everybody. I've done some people twice. There's more to do. There's plenty to do, actually. You never run out. But I've also started doing my little travel vlogs, where I'll go around. I mean, I did, well, you commented on it. I did Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco and Pier 39. Then I went to Carmel and did Clint Eastwood's ranch, and Betty and I had dinner there. And then we went down to the Hog Breath Inn that he owned for 27 years. And that was a fun. When we got in the bar, it got fun because, we were kidding around with the people working in there and stuff like that. And then we went on down to the white sand beach, which is the only place in California with the white sand beach and kind of aqua-colored water. So anyway, so I've been doing all this stuff, and we did one last week and put it on Tuesday, and we'll probably go out Sunday and make another one. We did the Pozo Saloon, which was a historic travel stagecoach stop, built in 1858, and now it's one of the major concert venues. I've seen Willie Nelson and Friends at the Pozo Saloon. I've seen Ziggy Marley at the Pozo Saloon, and believe it or not, I saw Snoop Doggy Dogg at the Pozo Saloon, and they were having great concerts, and then COVID hit, and they shut it down. They even shut the restaurant down because there's nothing out there. Pozo's got a post office and maybe 3 houses. The rest of us just all big cattle ranches all around them. It's really only 20 minutes from where I live. But the other place on the other end of the county where I want to go next is called Parkfield, and this was Pozo. That one's Parkfield, and that one is built on the San Andreas Fault. And some of the people I know that have lived out there said the ground rumbles every single day. It's the most monitored place for earthquakes in the United States. They're monitoring, trying to get all the information they can to be able to predict earthquakes. And it's just, like I said, it's right on. There's a creek bed that you drive over on a bridge, and that's where the 2 plates are slipping on each other, right at that creek bed, And when you fly over in an airplane, I used to have my pilot's license, and I had a little 4-seat airplane. You can fly over the San Andreas Fault, and you can see the crack. I mean, it stands out like a sore thumb. But I mean, so that we're going to go out there and do Parkfield in the San Andreas Fault and have something to eat at the Parkfield cafe there and stuff.
Now, I'd be interested in seeing that, the San Andreas Fault. Actually get up there and look into it. I mean,
yeah. Well, I won't be able to fly over. I don't have a plane anymore.
No, I mean physically be on the ground.
Be on the ground. Yeah. No, that's what I'll get as close as I can. hopefully I won't get sucked into the, you know, Land Before Time or something, you know. But anyway, I thought that'd be interesting. Go out and check that out. There's so much to see here. I mean, we got beautiful beaches all around us. I think there's 250 wineries here. Some of them have major concerts, you know. One of them just had the Beach Boys, and Jackson Brown's come several times. And I mean, major shows. I've seen some shows there. And there's some some of them are really unique too. There's one called Sculptura, and the grounds are full of these huge steel sculptures, you know. And yeah, there's a lot. You can film, you can make those little travel vlogs at the wineries. We've got lakes, we've got beaches. I mean, I've just scratched the surface of what I can go out and film, you know. So I've been trying to, between these shows on Friday night, put in at least one little travel vlog. It's just like a little filler, you know, something different, you know, that's fun to make, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video tomorrow night. Actually, there's 2 videos tomorrow I'd like to do. There's a Veterans Day celebration out here in our city. It's kind of a local video thing I would do.
Yeah.
And also there's a tribute band, AC/DC tribute band called Back in Black.
Yeah.
And they actually made a documentary movie about themselves. And it's premiering out here tomorrow night. And it's like a red carpet type thing. And these guys sound just like AC/DC.
Wow.
The lead singer. And now this guy, he was actually, when Brian Johnson couldn't sing anymore, AC/DC brought this guy in to try to fill his part.
Oh, no kidding.
And
wow.
He said he jammed with him for like 5 hours. And he like, dude, okay, I appreciate, you know, I got to get going.
Right.
No, you're going to jam with us some more. And they kept, and I guess Brian Johnson came back. And so,
okay.
So he went ahead and went back to his tribute band. And the name of the movie is My Stupid Little Tribute Band.
That's really funny. You know, we have an AC/DC tribute band right here 10 miles up the road in Paso Robles. And a friend of mine is the lead singer. In fact, on I think it was my 45th birthday, he was in a reggae band called Resignation, and they played for my birthday at my birthday party. But anyway, so, and I remember seeing him going back years and years when he was in some other bands. He was in one called DVS, and him and his brother, and I went and saw him a couple of times and stuff like that. But anyway, that would be kind of fun if you could. You know, it's hard to show real live music because then you get these strikes against you, you know.
Yeah.
But you can show someone else doing the music, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even like I told you earlier, I think before we went on the show, you know, with Rolling Stones, I recorded it, put it on YouTube, and YouTube says, no, there's a copyright claim on Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Okay.
But the Rolling Stones have agreed to share with you. So the Rolling Stones get some of the money, which is right. And I get some. It's my video.
Yeah.
So we split the money. But
yeah, that's okay.
But some bands won't allow that. Someone talk about the Eagles.
Right.
If you try to put up an Eagles song, they give you a copyright strike, not a claim, which is totally different. And,
well, you know, I filmed that little thing out at the Pozo Saloon, and I wound up with a copyright strike, and it's just this like 1858 bar out in the middle of nowhere, you know.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I can think of is there was some posters, you know, Willie Nelson and Friends, and told who the production company was, and I sat there filming it, reading it, you know, and the next one had, you know, Billy Currington and Merle Haggard, you know, they were all there in a concert, and I was reading that stuff, and that's the only possible thing that I could have done wrong was mention something I shouldn't have mentioned, you know. It's just I have a link that I can follow up and find out what the hell's going on, because I went back and I cut that part out, you know.
Yeah, sometimes they give that option too, where you could hit a button and it'll delete whatever.
Well, and that's what they said they do. That's one of the ways just to get rid of it, you know.
Yeah,
so anyway, guys, Robbie, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on, and Dan, always a pleasure, and thank you, Maria and Caitlin, and all the people that have hung with us and put up with us, and yeah, you're all in there, and Bob was here for the longest time, probably still here. I'm just kind of scrolling up, and we enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to, Greg Kotkoff, my friend locally here, just moved, and my daughter was here. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, you know. I mean, I'm beginning. Sorry, guys. I'm beginning to wonder, you know, just the unboxing by itself. I think I need more than that. Tonight I did show 4 albums, but normally it's, you know, when I had the other guys on the show, I mean, you know, Pat has a lot of vinyl. Pat can show 20 albums and not come close to like reaching the limit on something, you know. And I don't know if that gets to be too much, you know. I think we need to make it a little more interesting and stuff like that. So I'm working on some ideas and talked to Caitlin about some ideas as far as like, you know, having some games or Now Spinning TV. Hi, Now Spinning TV. How you doing, buddy? Sorry to see you have issues when you were in Rachel's stream. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, I tried to go on Rachel's show this morning. She sent me a link, and every time I came on, my voice was way behind, and it was echoing really bad. So I went off and on about 3 times and said, I'll work this out, not on the show. I'll work it out later, you know. And anyway, so yeah, thank you. I'll get to the bottom of it. I know some people that have joined my show, even my younger brother, the first 3 times he tried to come on, he was having the same kinds of problems. And one of the guys said, hey, you know, you can't come on you got to come on you can't come on StreamYard. You got to come on YouTube or vice versa. Now I don't even remember anymore. But anyway, I was not able. I didn't have any way to do that. You know, what I went through to come on didn't present that to me. You know, so and I couldn't go on through Facebook because, it's like I was saying earlier, I don't have Facebook on my computer. I get a sign saying they shut me down, and I disagreed with their decision. And they'll let me know in a couple of weeks if I'm right or they're right. And you look at the date, it's like 1.5 years old. And it's like, what the fuck, you know? And and so the only way I can even get on Facebook on my computer is to Google Facebook login, and I can go on. Other than that, I just get these, you know, we've turned you off things. So I couldn't go through Facebook.
Well,
maybe I can on my phone.
Well, on Rachel's show, is she using StreamYard?
I thought she did, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get together with her and get to the bottom of this, because they were talking about something that I was really interested in that I talked about on a couple of shows already. You know, the new Yardbirds and the breakup of the old Yardbirds and the creation of Led Zeppelin. And I've been through that story like 3 times. I got all excited when they started talking about it, and I wanted to come on, and I have like four Yardbirds albums, you know, plus the new Yardbirds with the Led Zeppelin lineup, you know. And so I wanted to pull that stuff out and have a little bit of fun. I couldn't get on, so I was kind of bummed about that.
Well, now Spinning TV, you know, brings up a point here. If they're on StreamYard and you click on the link to get in the show, do not have YouTube up at all. You don't bring YouTube up at all because it's a huge delay.
Okay. Okay.
You know, because like right now we're doing the show, I'm watching it all on StreamYard, not YouTube.
Yeah.
It's same thing with Facebook. You know, the StreamYard determines where is it going to go to YouTube or is it going to go to Facebook? Like when you do this show, you determine it's going to go to YouTube.
Right.
Okay. Now, so even if they're doing it on Facebook, you don't need to bring Facebook up. You only go to StreamYard. Just stay on the link, whatever they send you.
Okay.
But if you do have YouTube up, mute it because there's a minute delay.
Yeah, and that's what was exactly what was happening to me. Like a minute delay was just, I was going crazy listening to that.
Well, I need to get something. I got a bad cough.
Oh, good. Bob's still here. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate all you guys. Really appreciate you a lot. And yeah, it's cool that Now Spinning popped in here. Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so we tried to have a little fun tonight, and I think we did. And I guess we're going to close it now. And I want to thank everybody for being here. You know, all our friends in the chat and Robbie and Dan. Thank you guys.
No problem.
We'll do some more. Sure. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Okay. Good night.
See you later.